It is Thursday, August the 7th, 2019, and Bitcoin's making some moves, so let's just jump right in. Everything in this channel is not trading advice, just market observation, so let's jump in and observe. Right now we're looking at the 5-minute chart of Bitcoin over here. And it was making this great consolidation here, and I thought that the indicators might be telling us, is this going to be another Bart Simpson and a huge pullback from here? Or are we going to see more parabolic action? And because we pulled back into this channel and we're sitting in here, it's pretty interesting. It'll be interesting to see when it's touching the bottom of this channel. Breaking out of this channel is confirmation of a bigger 1, 2, 3, a double Bart fail. And let's go zooming out now to the 1-day view so we get some perspective on this, because we have 3 lower highs all the way along here. It is along a trend line, but we still have lots of room for that trend line to be met here. So we've got lots of room for price to come back. Let's grab this scribbler. Lots of room for price to come back and still give us an enormous ascending wedge triangle. Or there is room for it to come back and retest these old levels. Those things are all possible. And I think that our indicators are going to be showing us what's going on as we go through them here. Look at what's going on here. Also, I want to point out that, what are we looking at? 4-hour time frame. So in June, we had a high and a high of longs. July 10th, we had a high of longs. And now we have a high of longs while prices are testing these crazy levels. Let me see where my... Hey, Tony Stark. What's it doing? Yeah, it is pretty freaky right now, actually. Let's jump into our indicators and see if they're actually going to open up something below the chart to let us see inside. Here is the weekly view of the relative strength index. And I'm kind of hesitating because I am seeing these 3 wicks again. And just earlier before this pullback, this third candle wasn't all that wicky. Now, what I was planning on looking at here today is the numbers here in the RSI. What are we at? We're at 69.4. It's got to go higher if we're going to be going more. So if I zoom in on this number and I'm watching this 69.32 now, 69.4, if this little angle is tipping and we're stopping at these important levels on the weekly, it's done that before. It's tipped and pulled back and bounced. It is come up here and failed from these levels. It's tipped and pulled back from here, especially this one. It's we're tipping and pulling back from here. That's the key one right in here. So very interesting to see this on the weekly RSI. So you're joining in with my studies because I haven't actually looked through all of these today to see what's going on. I was busy with the altcoin spreadsheet and updating the reds and oranges in that. We'll take a look at that at the end. The RSI is weakening off from here. We saw a real divergence from this top to this top, and it's holding. It's not broken above that level. Where's my... Not broken above this level. It's got to if we're going to be going higher. And if it's bouncing from that level and coming down, we've got to know it. That's the daily view. Let's zoom into the 12-hour view because I'm now dissecting what's going on with this trend line. How much is this breaking? Is it really breaking the trend line? Because the trend line you can draw in sort of any different way. Is it making a 1, 2, 3 top formation? Because that, you can't mistake it. It's like the only thing in the chart that you can't mistake. Now we got this exhaustion wick, a double top, 2 exhaustion wicks here from these Bart Simpsons. That's looking a lot weaker all of a sudden. And overall, from these tops to this one, we do have weaker RSI. It didn't come up here. So if the on-balance volume is caffing out as we're coming over to these edges, that's going to be something. Zooming in more, here's that break right there with the price line. So the RSI has to hold these levels. And if it's breaking below these levels on the 4-hour time frame, prices will be also breaking below this top formation that's setting up here. So I'm getting bearish feelings all along here. And I'm not getting that bullish divergence that I was wanting to see in the RSI. I was wanting to see that the RSI was at least as strong as here. So what is this? The 1 hour time frame still not giving us a bullish divergence. Now I'm looking for all of these different trend lines in the RSI now. When it breaks. Let's clear that off and zoom in one more for this 15-minute time frame. Really a sharp move. Really Bart Simpson, both in the RSI and in the price level. Super dangerous trading for leverage. Super dangerous because there's... I don't know an indicator that's telling me a Bart Simpson's coming. If you guys know something like that, leave that in the comments below. Or we're live right now with Crypto G and Tony C. Stark. Sorry, got you confused with Tony G. Stark. Now let's zoom into the next indicator set. Watching for numbers here again today. We're under 200,000, whatever this unit is. Under 200,000. It's got to go above 200,000 for these wicks to not fail. But we don't see it pull back in that yet in the weekly trading volume. So let's zoom into the daily. It's weaker, not bad on this third one. But let's zoom in to see where the volume is, because we got better, pretty much the same on these two runs up here in volume. Then, of course, I'm watching to see the on balance volume go through that zero line with a color change as just above, and it's color changing and going below. I want to know that. And here we have the color change above and likely to be going below on the 12-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame. We were watching for this earlier. Wow, it seems like it was just last week, watching for this on balance volume to pick up, and it's really driven it all the way up, but now we've petered off. And petered off just at the same time that the Bart Simpsons are in here. 4-hour time frame, 1 hour time frame. Looking, well, okay, this is strong. Not bad. This isn't giving us, except for this last little bit here, it's not giving us, it's more positive than negative. It seems to me more buying overall than selling overall. So we'll see if this is just another whipsaw to clean up traders who are too leveraged. There are too many people that are long with a high leverage trade and their stop loss is too close. It's compelling for the bots. They can't help it. They have to wreck all those traders. Now let's zoom into the MACD indicator. This one, if you've been following the channel and you haven't subscribed already, be sure to. We've been watching for the MACD to do something similar that we've seen in the move up here, that it's going to come back but not cross, come back but not cross, and that the histogram is not going to go negative on the weekly. So far, we're seeing that. We're seeing that it's staying positive, and even so, that's bullish. On the daily time frame, it is bullish, but we don't see the histogram pulling back yet. We don't see a crossover. It still seems to be accelerating up. At least for this on the daily, we have to see it pull back a little bit, or there'll be a new thing. It usually is right at the top is the highest of the histograms, and then right after the top, the histograms are pulling back, and then the crossover happens. So let's watch that on the daily. 12-hour time frame. Did we cross? Histograms are pulling back. So here it is. We got 1, 2, 3 histograms pulling back. So we've passed the top. This is easing off, but it's still not enough to be really, it could be the top, but it's not enough. We have to get more from the 4-hour time frame. So we got a crossover and a crossover to the negative histogram right now. And that usually crosses first in the 1, 2, 3 top formation. So that gives me more juice that indeed this is topping out here. 4-hour time frame for at least a little while. 1 hour time frame, it's still looking not bad. It's like crossed positive. And even though the histogram is pulled back a little bit, this could just be noise, and it may not be actually significant in like a daily view. Just a bunch of jumping back and forth. Here in the 15-minute time frame, we still have higher crosses, and then a cross up at the top. Right up, same kind of thing as a cross that we had here, and the histograms went negative. So we're not done yet. This is still hasn't turned around to a positive histogram, even on the 15-minute time frame. So this has to catch itself on the shortest time frame first before we're going to see it catch itself on the longer time frames. And on the 5 minutes, it's not caught itself yet. So more down yet, more down than up from where we stand. The Ichimoku cloud should be confirming that. So on the weekly view, it still looks good. Hold. On the daily view, it's actually turned a little bit more positive. Even though we don't have a twist to the positive here, the price just got above, and the blue line crossed above the red line there. Where's our green trailing line? Hard to see. I don't think it's gone through both. So kind of on the 1 day view, it's kind of saying hold still. On the 12-hour time frame, it's twisted to the positive. We have a positive cross here, and it's above the cloud. So for now, it would be a hold on this one. Even if it came back into the cloud, it would need this to cross over negative. So this would lead you to hold it through this range as you're going along if you're looking at the Ichimoku cloud. And it may not be the best thing to do. We're looking at the 4-hour time frame here. It still hasn't crossed negative. So this is where I get to where the Ichimoku cloud may not be, it may not be the thing that I want to be keep checking every single day, because it's not giving me an early enough signal. If this is coming down and afterwards we see it's come way down and the 4-hour hasn't given us the wake up on that, I want to have a different indicator, and maybe you guys could suggest something that would replace the Ichimoku cloud in this regular routine. Now, here we are, twist to the negative. The blue is crossed positive above the red line. So even on the 1-hour time frame, it's not saying get out, it's saying noise and sideways, but it is getting a little bit more negative. So that a couple of them say don't get out, a couple of them are giving us negative divergences. It's pretty key to get these things recorded so that we can go back and restudy which indicators actually were giving us the better read of the chart here today. All right. We'll tune back in and see what this is doing. For a moment now, let's go look at Bitcoin dominance, because it's part of the regular routine that we're going through on this. We'll go through all the indicators on Bitcoin, then we go through Bitcoin dominance, then we finish up by looking at how the altcoins are being affected. Eventually, the altcoins they'll find a breath of fresh air, but not yet. This is really charging up. And if I go out to the weekly view, we can see that it may jump from where it is now at the 69, 68%, all the way up to the 78%, 77%. If we have another parabolic move in Bitcoin, it's probably going to really wreck all the alts. But again, we're at support and resistance levels, so it's time to zoom in on that chart, to zoom in on the 15-minute time frame and keep an eye on these wicks. It's looking strong. It's looking like it's taking over, and the alts are all fading back. And here is the details that kind of verifies that. The alts did really badly yesterday, and then today they pulled back up a little bit just before Bitcoin made its whipsaw move. But we can see things are going back more into a near fail status and a little bit more into a neutral status, not so much in complete fails going down to new lows. It's still going to be a couple of weeks before any of these can give us a trading signal on our simple trading plan. But we have 27 instead of 41 fails on Poloniex. And we have 21 near fails instead of 6. So we moved up quite a bit in the bearishness there. And we can see a similar phenomenon over on Binance, where we were at 127 failed markets, brand new lows. Now there's only 74 that are making brand new lows. And a bunch of those moved up into near fail, so that they've hit their low and pulled up just a little bit. Now they need to create a little bit of a structure before we can move them up to neutral status, and they've got to almost be finishing their 1, 2, 3 bottom formation before they get up into an alert status. Once they've broken above that 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and it has to be at least 3 weeks or a month from now, then they'll be turning into a hold status. It's going to be a while before the alts are going, just because we can see how Bitcoin dominance has just shifted. So we'll pay close attention, and we do. This is why we're doing this spreadsheet every single day, so that we can go back and we can see the progression of how everything has gone from neutrals into grays, into holds, near fails rather, all these alerts. And I'm super thankful for AOL Chandra from helping out and updating all of these things on Binance right now. She is fantastic. You guys are lucky to have her helping out with these spreadsheets. Anyway, that'll be pretty much it for today. Let me just go and look at my alt table lagging or leading indicator. My alt table, let's go to the Poloniex alt table and pull this back and then zoom back in time. Let's go back to January. This tells you basically when to hold alts or not. So you should be holding Bitcoin because Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million each. And sometimes you should take that Bitcoin and you should turn it into altcoins because they're going up faster than Bitcoin. Sometimes. And the wave will go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So that's what this study is for, because I've seen it so many times that I started studying it in a visual way so that I could share it with other people and show to you how this works with the trading plan that we're studying here. And so we'll see it coming like a 747 coming in for a landing. There's not going to be any question about it. As everything is all breaking over those 1, 2, 3 bottom formations, it's really clear. There's no Fibonacci's, there's no trend, well, there's trend lines, but once it's breaking above those 1, 2, 3 formations, and we use the exponential moving average crossover as a filter, it works out pretty well for getting us in and for getting us out. When those things turn into a cold fish, it's the exponential moving averages crossing over after a top formation. So this is, I think, the most powerful study there is for altcoin trading out there. And it tells us there's no trading in altcoin right now. It's all red and orange, and we need for it to get above gray and at least into alert status. Some of the stuff in gray status may be good to buy, but it's more risky. So once it gets up into the yellow and then it goes into the green status, we're seeing that taking off and got momentum going up the other way. It's showing us that the tide has changed, and it's not just another little wave that we're overreacting to. And it's the same formation that we just see in gold, silver, and platinum all taking off right now. And if you guys don't know, be sure to come to our Discord chat and I'll share with you where I'm trading gold, silver, and platinum using Bitcoin. So instead of trading altcoins with my Bitcoin, I'm keeping my Bitcoin and trading world commodities and growing my Bitcoin. Phenomenal stuff. Anyway, let's jump right back into Bitcoin and see what it's doing, because there's no taking your eye off it right now. If this breaks off higher, I'll do another live stream here today. If it breaks down significantly, I'll do another live stream because I want to capture what's going on in our indicators as that's happening. So wicked to have you guys all here. Awesome. Grant, good to have you along. And thank you, Tony. I appreciate that you find it informative. I will sign off now, and with gratitude for the people who are actually making this stream possible every single day. I am endlessly grateful for you. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin.